And extend a welcome to everyone, and a special welcome to those who are returning to be with us the second year in a row. Now, our challenge is set, as last year we were able to raise over 35,000 thanks to the generous support of many of you who are on the call today. And you will see throughout today's gala the marvelous work that NPAG has done in 2022, from our efforts of bringing clean water into Nigeria, into new communities as a way of engaging with these communities on a grassroots level, to our rather impressive engagement with the electioneering process in Nigeria by way of getting Nigerians to register for their PVC cards. And we're right now actually in the process of getting these PVCs disseminated as we've partnered with INEC and many other NGOs on ground. We are so keenly aware that we would not be able to do any of this without your continued support. So as we gather here to celebrate today, please remember our goal tonight. We want to raise more funds for the good work to continue. We want to raise these funds so that NPAG's mission can continue. And that mission is one really about transformative change and bringing good governance into Nigeria. Many who have been with NPAG since the inception remember the passion by which NPAG was formed, the idea that we need to be involved in Nigeria from an infrastructural level to really see the healthcare change that we need. And NPAG has not strayed away from that mission. And so remember, as you are watching the videos and hearing from our wonderful presenters and speakers that we have lined up tonight, that the mission continues and your support is integral to that. Now, with that, we want you guys to enjoy yourselves and get, again, into the giving mood. But really, this is, again, just end of year. We want to highlight the marvelous things that NPAG has done and the marvelous things that you have afforded us. Now, with that, I would like to introduce to you our MC for the afternoon. He has been in the comedy space for over 20 years and has worked with the likes of Basket Mouth and Wole Arole. He was also featured on a TV comedy series called Night of Laugh and another one called Rhythm Late Night Live. He was recently recognized for his robust body of work at the 10th anniversary for Life and Times. He is fantastic. And so he is with us today. Background to no background, let me welcome and present to you comedian Wamilele.
Hi, thank you so much. This background will work at some point today. Welcome everybody. Thank you for having me here. It's going to be a beautiful event. The lineup is big, and then we have a lot of good people coming on here to do their thing today. And as we flow with the event, the bottom line is we are raising money. And when I heard the numbers they've raised in the previous years, I was like, Iore got me on that one. Because she told me, it's charity thing. And then I'm hearing numbers and I'm like, oh my God. But tonight it's all about doing good. I was telling Iore, I just got back from Nigeria about 5 days ago. And, when you're out here and hear about Nigeria, is different from when you go in there and actually see what people are dealing with and going through. Almost every Nigerian has become a self-prescribed or certified doctor. When something happens, they give their self-medication, So an organization like this coming out to first hold the government accountable to our healthcare system is key for me. I'm very, very excited about that. And also to just mingle and meet with all the good people I will be working with tonight or this afternoon, wherever it is you are tuning in from. My first concern is Nigerians never keep to time. So they promised me we're going to have about 150 people today, and on my screen I only see 22. So I wonder how people with their phones and devices are still showing up late. Jesus Christ. My people, we can do better. So please test somebody, call your friends, tell them a message. We have started. We need everybody to come in and time into this good work we're about to do here tonight. As Susan said, my name is Wamilele. I will be your host tonight. I'll do the best I can to be funny. And if I tell the jokes you don't laugh, that don't mean I'm not funny. It means your problems are bigger than my talent. You don't need a comedian, you need a pastor. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce my dear friend, Dr. Iore James, for I think this is going to be our opening remark and officially just welcome people to this platform this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Wamilele. Thank you so much. Yes, the people are still trickling in, and it will hopefully be full by the time we're done here. All right, so I just wanted to do a general welcome and really just recognize some people, special guests and all. As you all know, NPAG is a 501c4 affiliate of AMPA. So without AMPA, there's no NPAG. So just wanted to recognize some of the people who, made AMPA happen and have, made NPAG happen. So I see Dr. Ameriwa. I see his name. I don't see his face. I know he's working. But Dr. Ameriwa, if you're able to just show us your face for a little bit, so we can see you. I see several past presidents here. Dr. Emmanuel Okafo. Hi, Dr. Okafo. Hope you're keeping warm in Cleveland, Ohio. I see, who do I see? I see Dr. Stanley Okoro. We're not in it for the money, but without the money, we're not in it. So there he is. I see Dr. Chukwumeri J. Hi, Dr. Chukwumeri J. I hope we can see your face as well, if you can, turn on your video. I see Mr. Foote, Mr. Melvin Foote. He is the president of the Constituency for Africa and has really been our contact for high-profile people in Washington. As you know, advocacy is about relationships, and we're in the process of building those relationships. So, Mr. Foote, thank you for joining us. And let me see here. I see Dr. Tabo Kwonu, who is a great supporter and donor of NPAG. We appreciate and hope that you can do the same again tonight. Thank you so much. I see Dr. Egbo, Obina Egbo, is in Arizona, also a big champion of NPAG. And you all really are all champions, but these are people that have really been there from the beginning and really provided the necessary support for us to continue doing what we're doing. So as more people join in, we will take breaks and make introductions, but just again, wanted to welcome you all to this event, and hope you have a great time this evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Quick house rules, guys. If you have two people logging on from the same space, one of you have to go outside into the car or the basement. Two microphones cannot be on the same time. Also, we're not interested in knowing what anybody is cooking and drinking, because there was an event I did and this woman kept shouting, "The rice is burning," and forgot her microphone was on. So we don't want that today. So if you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. And finally, we would encourage every one of us to put on our videos so we're able to see your faces. I don't have my makeup done, but thank God I'm still like this. Because this event is being recorded, we want to be able to show faces and not just pictures. So thank you so much. We're jumping straight into the NPAG video. I think we're ready with that.
The Nigerian Physicians Advocacy Group is a U.S.-based nonpartisan organization. It was created by passionate Nigerian American physicians who believe that the healthcare crisis in Nigeria cannot be fixed without good governance. Our mandate is to encourage Nigerian citizens to engage in the political processes that affect their daily lives. As Nigerian citizens, we know about the problems. We must engage in a united front to create sustainable solutions. Our organization wants to create a mind shift within the Nigerian and American leadership through grassroots advocacy. Our grassroots advocacy begins in rural communities, dealing with stomach infrastructure. We are providing access to clean water while educating citizens on the significance of sound civic engagement. We rallied with civic society organizations that led to the signing of the 2022 Electoral Act into law. This single important step not only improves transparency of election results, but also facilitates the election of qualified transformative leaders. Through partnership with the National Voters Drive Coalition, we are working to deal with voter apathy in Nigeria. Only an average of 15% of eligible voters turn out to vote in Nigeria. It is time to change that narrative. Our goal is simple: to increase voter turnout in a nonpartisan way. We are building a movement towards 2023 and beyond. Help us get PVCs into the hands of voters. Help us make history.
I like that. Help us get PVC into the hands of people. Now, for those of us that are in touch with Nigeria, we all know Nigeria is going into the election year next year, and this year is very, very crucial. You can see all our candidates going to different kind of events and doing what they have to do to take the country to the next level. So, we pray for Nigeria. We pray for Nigeria every day so that God will change what's happening in our dear country. I want to quickly just take a few moments to find out where people are logging on from. If we can quickly run through that, I think we can do that in less than 5 minutes. Just unmute your microphone and tell us where you're calling from. Do we have anybody calling in from Nigeria? You're calling in from Nigeria. Do we have anybody like that here? No? Okay, what about the East Coast? New York?
Yes, you do have someone calling in from Nigeria. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to turn the camera in a minute.
Okay. That's our special guest, right? She's calling.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening. Well, good evening my time. Good afternoon your time.
I know. America has like 15 different time zones, so don't
worry.
Well,
indeed.
I came back from Nigeria last week, and then the next day I flew into Alaska. And the morning or the sun don't show up in Alaska until 12:30 p.m. And I could not understand how God created these places. So thank you so much, my sister calling in from Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our special guest for this event. And in a very short while, you will hear from her. I also know she's on set, so I will not keep you, so you can take your time.
Festival. I'm at a festival.
Oh, festival.
Yes, that's the festival. It's a festival I inaugurated for young people. It's our second edition. So today is actually the festival. So I just took out some time to be here, and I'm going to go back to all the amazing things happening. Yeah. Well, this is an amazing event. So thank you for having me today. Thank you.
So with that being said, I'm going to just receive her so she can have time to go take care of what she needs to do. So Dr. Yuri, can you please give her a formal introduction as she takes the platform?
Hi. Bikia, it's so nice to see you again. So it is my pleasure to introduce Bikia Graham Douglas. So I've known Bikia since we were small, let's just say that. So she is a Nigerian-born British artist and actress. She attended the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, Oxford School of Drama, Bridge Theatre Training Company, and Point Blank Music School. She has a Bachelor's of Art degrees in Business Economics and Business Law. She is an award-winning Nollywood actress, She is founder of Beta Universal Arts Foundation, an organization focused on promoting the arts through production and education. It has produced over 20 plays and has created opportunities for many local talents in Nigeria. She is executive director of the Lagos Theatre Festival, an advocate for the rule of law and anti-corruption program with the European Union and British Council. And this entity raises awareness for sexual, gender-based violence in Nigeria. We are ecstatic to have her join us today. Bikia, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm really thrilled to be here today. And when Yuri gave me the call, I was speechless. I was just like, whoa. I never imagined that when we were growing up, we'll end up where we are today, where she's calling me to say, oh, B, I'd like you to speak about everything you're doing. And it just happens that a lot of the projects I'm working on aligns with what you're trying to do with all of the initiatives that you're doing across Nigeria, and with the elections coming up. Performing artists like myself, we can't ignore the soft power we have to connect with people, especially young people. And that's why I'll just share a few of the projects I'm working on with you, and also give insight as to what I feel we need to do more of to get more people voting. So I'll just like to say, one thing that is very important for us to get young people voting is changing their mindset towards voting. As you said, apathy, yes, that is an issue we have in Nigeria, but you can't even blame young people. There's a lot of distrust. Leadership has failed us over and over again. And you have to ask, who are the role models that they see? That's something that is very important, that we have positive role models who are active in spreading spreading the news about the importance of voting being not just your right, but voting being life. So for me, that is a very important place to look at. Having positive role models who are at the front line for telling them on the importance of voting. And I'll take myself as an example. I was talking to Yuri. I'm working on a documentary about Nigerian modern history. And why we're doing this is because we want that to connect with younger people. And we're doing it through the voices of not just the older generation, but everybody is called as we are. And we want to highlight the challenges that we've had, but also the opportunities that we've had, and projecting positive Nigerians who they can connect with, and from different levels, all levels, saying we are all Nigerian. Yes, things are bad, but we can get it better if we change our mindset and if we work towards it. That's what we're doing that documentary about. I'm currently working on a film called Dawn, and Dawn is about taking accountability and responsibility on yourself and also on leadership. And that movie is going to be out in January, just before the elections, because we want young people to connect with it. I recognize the soft power we have to influence, and we hope that by myself and many other people who are doing things to change the mindset of people, if we continue to project the importance of taking responsibility, not just waiting for government, taking responsibility, we hope that that would influence people. If we influence 10 people, these 10 people can influence other 10 people. And when I look at the collective of you and what you're doing, it's amazing. And so for me, you are the positive role models that we need to connect, for younger Nigerians to connect with. And I'm very happy to be associated with what you're doing. And I believe that there will be many opportunities for us to work together to further take the gospel of taking responsibility, especially with the elections coming up. Yeah. And something else I would like to say is there is a lack of hunger to get the right change. We keep saying change, change, change. But if you think about it, with the political sphere in Nigeria and the leadership that we've had over and over again, we're seeing our country regress. So when you say you want change, what sort of change are we looking for? That's another question that young people need to be asked, and they need answers to it. And why I keep saying young people is because we are majority in the country and they own the country. We all own the country. And if all of us as young people can work together and change our mindsets and demand the right change and work towards getting the right change, then things will change. We're very happy about the electoral bill being passed, and we're very happy with what we've seen INEC doing. What is most important now is getting to young people to say the right change you can get if you vote. There's a lot of distrust. So we have to constantly work towards creating avenues to connect with them, to squash that distrust and make them see that actually you as an individual, the power is in your hands, is not in government. They're all servants of the people. So you have the power. People need to be aware of the power they have. They need more education. They need to be informed. It would surprise you the number of young people who are not informed about the realities. For me, I do not believe in sensationalism, and a lot of people believe in sensationalism. What we have to also put at the forefront is facts, focusing on facts and not focusing on sensationalism, not focusing on what is trending, because that has become a big issue with interacting with young people and getting them to take responsibility. So focusing on facts is very important. And in the messaging that we're connecting with young people, to constantly put that at the forefront, that facts are very important. Something else I would like to say is, while we want to hold government accountable, we need to hold ourselves accountable. And creating the material that I'm creating now for the masses before the elections, and I'm hoping that we're going to have screenings across the country, and we even want to go to villages to screen this movie to teach people about, taking responsibility and holding leadership accountable. You have to want to do it. You have to start with yourself. If we wait for government to do everything, it's not going to happen. But with organizations like yours, you keep doing what you're doing. Someone like me, an actress and a producer, I'm creating this material that people can connect with. If we all take responsibility to connect with other people and inform them about the importance of them taking responsibility for themselves and doing what is right, then they can hold leadership accountable. But we have a society where there are no consequences. We have to re-educate people about there being consequences. And you see, it all goes back to the distrust, because you see where a leader is paraded in the newspapers and he's stolen, say, 48 billion or whatever, and then he's still a free man. Why should you do different? Why should you be good? Why should you trust the system that allows a criminal? So it still goes back to the distrust. But what I'm trying to say is, if we take the good news to people about holding yourself accountable, holding yourself responsible to do what is right, then with a clear conscience and a clear mind, you can hold leadership accountable. And that is a message that we need to pass on to the grassroots and to the masses of Nigerians and to young people of Nigeria, that it starts with you, not government. It starts with you. And with the elections in focus, that is something that a lot of young people have to take into consideration when the elections come, for them to take responsibility to go out and vote, make their votes count. Something else I'd like to say is, yeah, so for me, accountability and responsibility are extremely important. As I said, it starts with you. And how do we get more young people to vote? We have to make them understand that being indifferent is not going to change the system. Not taking any action will not change the system. You have to do the work. As with everything else we do in our lives, we have to do the work. And for us to see this country change, it has to start with us. And that is the messaging that is very imperative to take into consideration going into election season. Yeah. And I would not like to talk too much, but yeah, so as I said, I'm working on the documentary and the film, and the messaging of it is taking responsibility to hold leadership accountable by going out to vote.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. If you can just drop on the chat a clap emoji. Thank you so much, Becky, for that. Wonderful, wonderful. I like the part where she did say everyone has a part to play. I always say Nigeria is not just the government, it's also the people. We used to say the joke, this man complained about somebody paying him with fake currencies, and he was shouting, can you imagine the rubbish? This man paid me 50,000 naira, all of them fake money. And so we asked him, so where's the money? Now he said, I spent it. You know, so how do you spend the money when you say it's fake? So everybody has a part to play in this. And I've been looking forward to a Nigerian actually coming to say we need to be held accountable for our part of what is going on in the country right now. And again, she's into a movement where people have to speak out, because a lot of times people just do stuff in Nigeria and nobody talks to them. Nobody hold them responsible for what they're doing. And a group like NPAG is making sure that we have a better country. It might take 10, 15 years, but Nigeria would definitely change for the better. So Iori, it is your turn. You take some few questions and let's see how well we can do with this. So Becky, thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful section.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vicky. That is just absolutely fantastic. I mean, several key points, and I try to, put some things on the chat. I just love the part about we are the positive role model for change. There are lots of leaders in this group, a lot of physicians, a lot of people that have really excelled in their several professions. And yeah, we are that leaders, and we need to be that role model for change. I love what you talked about, create avenues to crush the distrust, because we all understand how it is. I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. That culture of distrust, and it's come because of experiences that we've grown up with or that we've seen. Re-educating the people on the fact that actions result in consequences. Bad decisions lead to bad outcomes. Love it. And really just taking responsibility and not pointing the finger, because people say if you point one finger at someone, there are 3 or 4 pointing back at you. So taking that responsibility. Mm-hmm. So and the whole idea of getting the young people to come out and vote. I mean, this is absolutely something that NPAG is all about, because if we're thinking that the fundamental issue is leadership failure, then we ought to be engaged in the process that brings about the leadership. And in a democracy like Nigeria that has been ongoing for 23 years, longest in our country's history, we need to use the law to our advantage, because after all, that is all we have. This is how African descendants of slaves in America, this is how the civil rights movement started. All men are created equal. And if that's what the law is, why are you subjecting us to second-class citizen status? I mean, that was how it all started. They used the law to get to where we are right now. I mean, there's still work in progress, but way better than before. And this is the mindset that we also have to have in Nigeria. So I just want to thank you I know you've been busy, and the Arts Festival, I think, is coming up, right? Has it started already? Or
it's actually on, it's on.
Right.
And
so
it just happens that yes, 70% of our programming is about accountability, because it's something that we can't take it for granted anymore. And yeah, and we can see the reactions of audience members, and we know we're touching them. And at the end of it all, we even had a talk about the soft power of creativity to influence, with the general elections in focus. So we know accountability is the biggest issue we have. Yeah. So it's on at the moment. It's a lot of fun, but we're finding ways in which we can talk about very serious things, but also entertain people.
Awesome. That's wonderful. So thank you again for taking the time. Feel free to stay on. I know it's quite late right now you in Abuja now. Is that where you are?
I'm currently in Abuja. Yes, I'm in Abuja, but I'll go back to Lagos once the festival is over.
Okay, great. So we know it's late, but feel free to stay on, otherwise we understand if you have to log out. But thank you once again.
And Dr. James, there's a question in the chat for her, if possible.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, let me see. Thank you, Titi. Let's see.
With the work you are doing, are you seeing hope in terms of overcoming the apathy mindset some voters have? And that's from Dr. Idonwe.
I would say yes and no. There are some people you meet who have completely given up on Nigeria, and understandable. But I'm an optimist. I believe in this country, and I believe Nigeria is one of the greatest countries in the world. And I believe Nigerians are not bad people. Leadership has failed us. But if we give up, then we let the lack of accountability to win. We let corruption to win. So we can't focus on that. And that's why I continue to put out this messaging. So you do see a lot of people who say, actually, you're right. And it's not going to do so much. You just need to go out and make your vote count. So we have seen some resistance, of course, but we've also seen people who are like, okay, you know what? It is my responsibility, because you will be surprised the number of people that do not see voting as a responsibility. They don't see it as the most important thing you can do as an adult Nigeria. They take the policies made for granted. They take the corruption in governance for granted, and they take the corruption in society for granted. And a lot of them will just go, well, now Nigeria. No, it's not just Nigeria. If we get leadership right, this could be the greatest country in the world. And so we're going to continue to connect with people. We're going to continue to use our soft power to influence, and we're not going to stop. It's going to change one day, I believe so. You're all Nigerians out there. I'm a Nigerian, and we need to see more people like us in those positions of power. And the only way we can achieve that is to continue to go about the messaging that we're sharing at the moment.
Yeah. Word. Thank you. Are you planning to run for office, Grace?
Maybe, but not yet. For now, I'll focus on creativity to influence people. Yeah.
It is so interesting how you meet different kind of Nigerians, and we all have a perspective of what Nigeria should be. And then I was having a conversation with one of the so-and-so leaders or kingmakers in Nigeria, and he told me point blank that if the young people would just stop talking and actually act on what is going on, then Nigeria will change. But when it comes the time to act, they are more focused on something else. And then the people in the rural areas, those are the ones who actually change what goes on in the government, and those people, all you have to do is just give them a bag of rice and a tuber of yam, and they give you all their votes and everything. So Bikia, thank you so much for opening our eyes into a better Nigeria.
Yeah, can I say something about that?
Yes.
I don't know if you followed the Osun state elections. I don't know if you followed that, yeah, and how PDP emerged. And what we heard, and we saw it in the news, and I will try to find some of those videos and ERA, I'll share it with you so you can share with the wider group. We saw people in the rural communities. They would tell you, they actually said, we took their money, but we did not give them our vote because we did not believe in them. It's changing. That's why we cannot relent in the work we do to keep trying to shift the mindsets and doing things to make people see that they have the power. The power is in the people, not in the leader. It's about the people. They are servants of the people. And that is a message, that is a messaging that has to continue to different communities. So in the work you're doing in all these rural communities is to keep reminding them to say, you have the power, not this leader. They are to serve you.
Mm. Okay, I have another question from Dr. Cliff, aka my good friend. Said, thank you so much. How can we hold people accountable for their actions when our legal system is good and the 1999 Constitution is flawed?
You know, like with
working
on this documentary, something
yeah,
that keeps working on the documentary, what keeps coming up is that the Constitution has to be restructured. And it's something that we do agree on. And it's only a matter of time that that will get to the floor. When we have the right leadership in power, and that will happen. And I know that there are steps that INEC has taken that will make it more difficult to rig elections as usual. It will not be business as usual in the next election. I feel like the next election is the most important in our country that our country has ever had. It's not going to be business as usual. And in time, more people are aware. And if we continue to get this messaging to people to shift their mindsets, it's a mindset thing. If we can continue to shift their mindsets, we will see how people will change. They will change their attitudes towards leadership, towards their responsibility, and towards accountability. Yes, the Constitution is flawed, but that accountability can start with you. It's not going to happen in one day. We're still a new democracy. It will not happen in one day. So we just have to keep going. We have to keep pressing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our star guest, she's not just a guest, she's also a superstar. Sometimes some of you don't just go on YouTube and type her name and you'll see tons of movies, that this woman has been in. So thank you for blessing us with knowledge and all you do. Keep winning. That's all I'll say. If we have any more questions, please send it to the group chat and we'll be able to ask our special guest. Like Yuri said, it is late, even though I know Nigerians don't sleep in that country.
No, we're not sleeping.
Yeah, they don't sleep. They're up till 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6, 7, and then by 8 o'clock, they're in church. And you're like, wait, I just saw you last night. That's our country people for you. So thank you one more time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Lovely to see you on screen, Yuri. And let's stay in touch and see how we can work together.
Absolutely.
And thanks to everyone for being here and for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Take care. I'm going back to my festival now. So
please enjoy. Have fun.
Okay. Bye.
So Wami Lele, if you permit me, there are other people I wanted to highlight.
Okay.
I see Dr. Yile Aluko. Hi, Dr. Yile. Dr. Yile is one of AMPA's past president. I see Dr. Michael Atomi. Hi, Dr. Atomi. I think that is Dr. Julius Padua. I'm not sure. It doesn't have his last name on there. But hi, thank you for gracing us with your presence. And let's see. And I see Dr. Azir is on. Dr. Azir is an NPAG board member and first man of AMPA. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you. I think that's all. All right, over to you, Wami Lele.
Okay, as we get more people, we definitely would bring them on and recognize them. Please, everyone, let's learn how to use our chat box. Just if you have any contribution, you have any question, just send it into the chat box. We'll be reading them time to time, or send it to one of our coordinators. And I must say, Yori and the team, you guys are doing very, very well. This is almost a perfect Zoom meeting for me. I think the imperfection is me not having the official background. So I do apologize for that.
So we'll have to cut that out of your, you know what. Well, that's a discussion we can have offline, right?
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. We have another video coming up, and this is the NPAG shift video. So please, if that video is ready, let's put it up. Thank you.
On there.
As part of our commitment to ensure that all Nigerians have access to the needs they deserve, we collaborated with the Nigerian Physician Advocacy Group, or NPAG, to provide the people in the Alede community with access to clean water. People in Alede have endured hardship for years as a result of this lack of access to clean, portable water. Now, we have been able to provide boreholes to serve the community and their needs.
We think you have started this with us, but we think it is a joke. But now we have been getting water. We used to go to forest to fresh water before, but now we have not been suffered because of water. So we thank you people for giving us water. I'm very happy for giving us this thing. Here is the source of the water going well. We go to get water. And now the thing is here, I'm very happy for the business. For rice mill, work there. And this will help me because not the water wey we dey look for, we dey waka up and down to get water. And we no dey see. Even now, I never get water to heat o. That make me come here that we get water. I will go eat and drink, wash, bath, everything. And I like when they do this borehole.
Make change in Alede. Woo!
To join us as we make change in communities such as this, please visit www.makechange.ng for more information.
If somebody's talking, they're muted. I think I was looking for Mr. Tayo.
Everyone, hey, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the invite, Iori and NPAG, and thank you for all the work that you're doing as well in Nigeria. My name is Tayo Adeafi. I am board member for Shift Nigeria. I'll briefly talk about our work and partnership with NPAG and put that in the context of the type of change that we are looking and seeking for in the country. We started Shift with a few Nigerians in the diaspora in Abuja and Lagos off of a conversation on Zoom like this in, I believe, 2018. And the conversation starts like most in dinner tables in our homes. And some of them started when our parents, at least my father, used to talk about Nigerian politics, was our leadership is bad. The bane of our problems is leadership. And a few of us professionals just said, what can we do to solve this leadership challenge? And the answer was, in our mind, was shift. And I think the previous speaker started to speak about a mindset shift, and some of that became part of the thinking around shift. And we set out to solve one problem. How do we fix the leadership problem in Nigeria, but not look at it from the presidential elections all the time, but look at it from a community-based view? Because what we realize is that there are over 3,000 leaders across the country, including local government leaders. But every time we talk about leadership, we talk about the presidency. And we realized that that was a gap. And so we said, let's leave the presidency alone for a second. Let's start to go deep into communities and start to work on how do we build leaders in our communities. And through that journey, we've learned a lot. And we've learned from people in these communities themselves telling us what they want and what they need and how we can change their communities and therefore change Nigeria. That journey has led us to partner with NPAG over a series of projects. The one that we spotlighted was our first pilot project in Alede, where through community organizing and meetings, they told us point blank all the issues that they had, but the number one area that they were suffering the most was water. And with just conversations and some traveling going down there in Alede in Benue State, we were able to fix their problem that they had been asking for 10 years. For 10 years, they've been asking their leaders to provide water, and that hadn't happened. And we were able to do that in partnership with NPAG in a span of about 4 months. And so that model is what we've started to work on across the country, and we're in 4 states now. NPAG is also partnering with us in Edo to transform, to help with the transformation of a healthcare center in Obuna. Their biggest issue is as well as water, because they have found that even though they're functioning or they're trying to reform their health system and center, they don't have water. And if you look at community after community in Nigeria, one of the most basic needs is the lack of clean water. It's a global crisis. The UN and everyone keeps talking about Nigeria, about the lack of water. And so it's a problem that we're starting to solve. But people can ask, why are you solving the water problem when you started with leadership? The answer for us has been, this is how we engage the community and do it in the long term. Because when we have stomach infrastructure, when people come back and give bags of rice every 4 years, people remember. But with the work that we're doing, we are seeing that people have started to believe in not only the solution that we're bringing to them and what they've asked for, but even our messaging around the type of people they should vote for, and leadership programs that we're establishing in their communities actually develop leaders there, so that those same leaders will become local government leaders, local government council members, eventually state representatives, and eventually House of Reps, senators. And then we believe that when you then have a collective of people who have the same idea of local government, same idea of community transformation, same idea of how you should run society, that starts to bubble up, and then eventually that movement can actually change at the national level. And so we are in Kaduna, we're in Benue, we're in Lagos, and we are in Edo at this point. And the work that we're doing with NPAG, we're starting to see fruit of it. It is a long-term journey, and we tell people this all the time. Like, there is no, this is not an election cycle challenge. This is a decade of work that we're hoping that in the next 10 years we will see pockets across the country and their communities transform, number one, and number two, shining examples of how we can actually change and shift the country. So again, thank you for the partnership. I think we are probably 3 years out now, ERA, and we see a lot more work to be done, and we're excited for the future. So again, thanks for having me, and again, thanks for all the work that we're all doing together.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, what you just said, I think that is a global crisis. The first place that need clean water in Nigeria is Lagos Island, Lekki to be precise. You have houses of 500 million and they don't have good water. Also, even where I live, Los Angeles is full of oceans and seas and all of that. and we have water shortage. So this is a major, major crisis when it comes to humanity. We're going to take questions if you want to chime in and ask some questions. Like I said, if you can just drive, a lot of people don't do this, but whenever I go to Nigeria, I do drive from Lagos to Delta State just to see how people live. And a lot of people think Nigeria is Lagos. No, it's not. You know, you just need to get out of Lagos and see what the country is really about. So if you have questions, you want to chime into what he's saying, and you can go ahead and unmute yourself or just drop a message in the box, and we will take that question. Thank you.
Hi, Tayo. This is Susan. I do have a question, and I really want you to expound more on something. One of the things that Bikia said right before she left, she gave an example of how people in these rural communities are still taking, you know, the handouts from these politicians who intend to bribe them, but they're not voting for them. Mm-hmm. And so she mentioned that she's starting to see, her organization is seeing that shift, which is really integral to the name Shift Nigeria. And so, you know, one of the things that was most intriguing for NPAG to work with Shift was the grassroots mind shift aspect of all of these. So if you can elaborate on that. I remember in many of the different conversations you and I have had, you've mentioned the stomach infrastructure model that a lot of these politicians have used, and how by us going into the community and unlocking a need such as clean water and showing them this is what it looks like when you advocate for your community, when you vote for people who can actually bring this kind of change. And I know that Shift has had many community meetings and sort of ways to indoctrinate the community on the power of their vote. So can you elaborate more on that for people today?
Absolutely. Fantastic question. I think I'll give an example. So we are, and I see something in the chat about other communities as well. And I'll give an example in Lere, Kaduna, the southern part of Kaduna that we're working. And we just finished a 10 million naira healthcare transformation there. And that's wrapped up last month. And one of the things that we've done with the community meetings that we've had is when our state coordinator goes into that community, it's like 20, 25, 50 people start to circle his car and they start shouting shift, 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 shift. And at first we were like, this is kind of awkward. Like, we don't want the attention. But it was really because they were like, man, we've asked for this for years. This hasn't happened. And this random organization comes in and does it. And they're like surprised. And what then happened after that was we then tried to facilitate a meeting, because we're like, hey, you know, our model, we're not millionaires, right? We just, hey, we're going to dive into it, raise money different ways, and boom, we try to make it happen. And we started to say, hey, senators, stakeholders, you guys are elected officials, can you come help? We had a meeting with a representative of one of the House of Reps that is over that area. And he was supposed to come for a meeting that we organized. His security told him he could not come because the community was going to stone him. And what we realized from that was people are starting to, in those communities, realize that these people that they're electing are not doing their work. And they're getting, you know, that was an extreme example, but they understand that these people don't represent them anymore and they're trying to change it, right? And so what we're seeing is that if we have two sides of the coin, where there's Shift coordinator who's, you know, organizing for them, being a silent partner, that influence is what we're trying to take, is that soft power. That's what we're trying to take away from the politicians. And what we're seeing with that small example is that's what's starting to happen, is that we come and solve a need, then we become their advocate, then we become their quote unquote person that they listen to. And so that's what we're trying to do. And we see that in Alede, we saw that in Kaduna, we're in Benue State, like we went to Maduguri, like we go all the other places, or Makodi, sorry, in Benue State that we've actually visited, same story. We facilitate the conversations. Their leaders they don't come close to it, right? Because they haven't been there in 4 years. So what we're seeing is that the more we do that, the more capacity we have. And our goal for next year is to have 100 of these meetings, 30 more projects next year, so that we start to see this. And that's why I say it's a decade's work, right? Like, this is not a, I think a lot of times, we as Nigerians specifically, we want to see that result right now. It's like politics and grassroots engagement is long term. We have to be in there. And that's what APC, PDP have done. They have been there for decades. So when a new political party or whatever wants to come in and try to, they can't win, right? Because APC, hate them or not, they've been mobilizing for 20 years. And so we have to understand that there's work that we need to do in the grassroots to pull ourselves together. And the beauty of what we're doing is that we have an Abuja-based team, right? That is highly educated. Some of them studied in America. Some of them studied in top schools in Nigeria, right? Like, and we're seeing, like, when you bring our grassroots state coordinators who, come from local communities and bring those with people like us on this call, professionals, the power and the synergy of what we can create together is good policy, good examples, structure, all of that, with local leadership saying, this is what the community needs, put that together. And that's what I think is the future, that is the future movement, is rural, grassroots, plus highly elite people coming together and saying, like, we're going to actually change the narrative. Right now, what you see is the political class who have money taking advantage of them. What we need to change is make them our partners, right, in solving the problems that they face. And then that's where I think the movement sort of really begins.
Awesome. We have a couple of questions and observations. One, I don't know who wrote that. It said, what is the next step for shifts? Are you guys working with other communities similar to Alaide? And that is one. Two, has Shift attracted any negative attention from politicians? Because your work can be seen and considered a threat to the local politicians that has a benefit from, the suffer of the people. Are you showing the communities that their current leaders are not it?
Yes, fantastic question. Yes, we have. And as a result of that, we're even changing our strategy a little bit because we are seeing that for example, we were in Ikorodu in August to do a health drive. We ended up doing it for about 300 residents. They hadn't had this for years. Same story in Ikorodu, that's in Lagos, that's close to a lot of big, Banana Island and all this stuff that's in Lagos that you would think, yeah, like these people have access. No, same issues, right? But in order for us to do that, we had to get so much red tape through the local government leaders and all that. And we ended up just saying, okay, it's a partnership with the local government just to kind of get through it. And yeah, so we are seeing that. And what we're really learning that changing our strategy essentially is really not about politics, to be honest. It's about community transformation, right? And so we don't really care what the politician is saying. We're saying, hey, we're trying to transform the community. You can partner with us, right? We invite every community we go to. If we're doing a project, the local leadership knows. We send a letter saying, we are doing this in your community. Do you want to join? And a lot of times they don't, they don't. And so we see that, but what we're realizing is that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we have the community on our side. And that's what we're trying to drive home is not the leaders are going for the same people. We are trying to sort of get them first. We are trying to say, we have the soft power now, right? With these projects that we're delivering, and sort of be with them in our journey. The end part of our strategy is actually to start to run community leadership programs in those communities to actually build leaders from those communities. Because what happens is you would find this random person who's outside the community, comes to run for office, goes away, never returns. What we want to do is start to actually build leaders in those communities. And again, I think when the time right now, we're small, right? Nobody knows as much, and that's the moment for us to actually build our on the ground, get in there. And that's what we're hoping to do. But we are careful of not attracting negative, because we're still registered in Nigeria, CAC, so they could shut us down. So we are careful to make sure that we're being wise about it as well.
Okay, okay. I'm going to take, I have 2 hands up for questions. Dr. Emmanuel Kafo, please unmute your microphone and ask your question. And after that, Dr. Ayo Makinde would ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, NPAG and Iore, for your leadership. And thanks, Tayo Adeya, for your comments. Very appropriate, very interesting. Don't mean to rain on the parade, but I was listening to your presentation and the tedious groundwork that you're doing across, I guess your market is Nigeria, but you started somewhere. I'm not for sure how many local governments we have, but I'm sure it's more than 200, 300 if you figure Borno to Port Harcourt. How many?
770.
Exactly. So we're chipping at the edges. And water is needed everywhere. We've talked about this at AMPA forever. Clean, potable water. All these things are important. So if we were to take that as a strategy and begin to deal with rural water schemes and all that across the country as a way to get in. And I like what you were saying at the end, that by creating presence and recognition in these communities, you might at some point transform this into community engagement and political, activity. But it seems to me a tedious way to go. I don't mean to rain on this. It's a vast country, and I know you're in for the long game, but it will be a very long game, because we're just chipping at the edges. So I'm hopeful, but if I think about just my state or my LGA, it will take forever for this kind of thing to have impact. So I'm wondering, too soon to measure. How do we begin to get a measure of how these projects we're doing in these communities is going to transform into changes in political action or governance? It may be too soon to measure because we just about got started, but it seems to me a long way to go. I'm listening to hear other strategies we can use to move this thing forward. I'm not impatient, but I think it's a tedious, long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to acknowledge that it is tedious. And I do think that there's not only one strategy. I think, and we are very supportive of other organizations that, are doing other areas to sort of drive, change immediately, midterm, long-term, right? We found sort of a market I wouldn't say market. I do have a business background, so sometimes I may say market and all those things, but we found an area of the pie and said, like, this area is not being worked on, right? It's not being touched, and it's a long-term project, right? And realize, like, again, with our analysis, a couple of years ago, we realized, like, again, the APCs and the PDPs, this is the long game that they have played. They have the infrastructure on the ground, right, to be in these communities all over the country. And until there's a political party, right, or a movement that can collectively bring all those things together and rival their political infrastructure on the ground, it's all going to be noise, is the assessment that we had, right? Like, there's no change in that. Like, it doesn't matter who they elect, because, again, their primary system allows them to pick whoever they want, right? So it's just always going to be, whoever they want is what happens, right? Because the infrastructure, the political infrastructure they have on the ground is next to nothing. And the reason why PDP even struggles is that infrastructure is not the same. Any other political party does not have the infrastructure the APC does. And I don't want to talk too much about politics here, but as we think about it from a policy perspective, it's the same thing. If we are not building on the ground, I think whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or even 20 years, we will still continue to see the same thing, because those guys always have infrastructure or some method to sort of run the local governments, run the systems on the ground. And so what our strategy has been is acknowledge that it's going to be hard, it's going to take some time, but also take the mind of a startup, right? Like, take the mindset of a startup. How do we scale fast? How do we be lean? Like, we have a very small team. We change our strategy, we pick things, we drive it home, we, make revenue ourselves, we partner, we're thinking of how to change strategy, we're thinking of how to scale, we're trying to make next year 100 communities, 20, and so, like, we're thinking about how to accelerate the process while acknowledging that it's going to take some time. I think NPAG has done a fantastic job acknowledging the same thing, where I think NPAG strategy is, you partner with organizations that are solving some issues now, right? But our partnership with SHIP, I think, is a acknowledgement like this is a long-term focus on grassroots engagement. And so that's kind of, I think, the difference that we are seeing. But again, acknowledge is going to take some time. And we're just kind of in it for the long term, essentially.
Okay, wow.
Thank you.
You are a man full of words. It's like you're talking so much, it's just coming out. All right, for this segment, I'm going to take Dr. Ayo Makinde. I can see he's driving, and please, sir, put your eyes on the road or pull over as you do this, okay? So you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Chief Lenny. My eyes are on the road, so I'm good. I want to say thank you to NPAG for today's webinar and Gala, and also thank you to Shift for collaborating with NPAG. We know that for Nigeria, we have a failed system, so that's why it is NPAG, it is Shift, it is those of us that are doing things like this that can take care of our people. So my question is, for Shift, how do you guys survey the communities that you want to do projects for? For instance, the water system, which is a national problem, and also for the primary healthcare system, which is completely in shambles. How do you survey them, and how do you move from state to state, and how do you intend to expand your network to get the whole country?
For sure. So we have 12 priority states first that we're trying to enter by the end of 2025. And those 12 states span all the six political zones. So we picked 2 from each, and these are most likely like the 2 largest states. So for example, Kano, Kaduna, Lagos, I think in Ogun State, or yeah, I think we've done. So like we've kind of picked analysis that we did a few years ago, just where to kind of focus. So that's 1, and then 2. So over the next couple of years, we're gradually moving in. So we're in 4 states now. And by the end of next year, God willing, we will be in about 10. So 6 next year is our goal, opening chapters, opening local hubs, starting to build leadership there. And we think that by the time we start to get our foot, we were doing this bootstrapping, donations from few people, partnerships with NPAG. But by the time we start to get more funding and all those things, we'll be able to accelerate that process. That's 1. 2 is the other part of the question is how we select issues that we focus on. We focus on 6 core policy issues that allow any community to thrive and work: governance, security, education, the economy, health, and infrastructure and energy. Those 6 things, a community cannot survive without those things. So that's how we enter the communities and we educate on that. And then we hear from them specifically. We have what we call community meetings that people in the community tell us what the problem is. We don't tell them what their issue is. They tell us. And when they tell us, we analyze that, all the list of issues, a lot of times it's 20 or some major number, issue after issue. And then we pick, what can we solve for you right now at the most reasonable, cost-effective way? And then how do we partner with the community? Because they have to chip in as well. The project in Alede was not just NPAG, Shift, and all that. They contributed, even till today. They give their 20 Naira, 25 Naira to contribute to the work and to the water maintenance as well. So that's how we sort of engage in communities and walk through. And there are more communities that we engage with, but we don't have the funds to solve all of their problems. So there's a backlog of communities that we've had meetings with, but because of funding constraints so far, we haven't been able to enter and do major large-scale projects. But we're hoping that changes over the next couple of years.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as you go along this journey, the funds will surely come. One thing I always say is that Nigerian problems, sure, it takes a lot, it takes a lot. We have a video from the DFC group. So please, if you can, let's allow the video show at this time.
I'm not a spokesperson for DFC. DFC Doctors for Change is actually just an online WhatsApp platform. What we've done is to have the first DFC conference, a meet and greet, which happened in Lagos very recently. I was just one of the organizers. So DFC itself, Doctors for Change, is not a body. We are trying to formalize, off the back of this, conference that we had, formalize exactly what direction to take DFC. But what is important is that for DFC to become an entity, for DFC to have a voice, for DFC to be able to contribute strongly, to the advocacy and even just, to healthcare in Nigeria, we need to come off the WhatsApp platform and actually do something concrete. That's what the conference threw up for us. But to do that, we need to collaborate. So we need to work with different organizations, and NPAG and ANPA and other organizations in the diaspora will become integral to what DFC wants to achieve, which is collaborate with different organizations to see how we can have a voice that pushes for better healthcare for all Nigerians. And this is important, not only because we have relatives in Nigeria, but because we may also have need for the healthcare services here. For those of us who are living here, it's a reality every day. We may have to call on the services, either in the private or the public sector. And for those who come in to the country on occasions, you just never know. So this is a job that must be done. We must work together. We must work better together, and we must find a common ground to become a force to improve healthcare delivery in Nigeria.
The Nigerian Physicians Advocacy.
Okay. Do we have any more question or concerns or contribution to what our able man has told us? Does anybody have something you want to say? You can just indicate by putting up your hand or dropping a message in the comment box. Okay, I see Dr. Merua wants to say something. Please, sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Amilele. So I just want to add about DFC, Doctors for Change. This is mostly a group of physicians who've practiced in the diaspora that are now back in Nigeria and are practicing in Nigeria. As Biodo indicated, it's a WhatsApp group, and some of our colleagues here are also part of this DFC group. Clearly, one of the things about being in this group is that you've been abroad, you have the sensibilities of those who've been abroad, you also know the needs at home. And some of these physicians are practicing at levels that are equivalent to what you see abroad. We have people like Nali Lowo, who is an interventional radiologist from Pittsburgh, that's doing the kind of work he would have been doing in Pittsburgh in Nigeria. I'm sure a lot of us here know Yemi Johnson. We know people like Mosu, and of course, our able colleague from Kwara, and I'm kind of blanking on his name, that's also a spine surgeon. So
Dr. Suleiman.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suleiman. So ultimately, this Doctors for Change will create a virtual medical staff of highly skilled Nigerian physicians. And because of our connections, I mean, somebody like Yemi Johnson, is on first name basis with our vice president. A lot of people on that platform are on first name basis with the governor of Lagos. There's all kinds of things we can do policy-wise. But more importantly, if we create this virtual medical staff, we would create monthly or every other week education program for primary care physicians, basic cardiology for the primary care physicians. So if somebody is in Oka trying to be a primary care physician, trying to address cardiac issues, they know what basic primary care physicians should be able to do. basic orthopedic for primary care physicians, basic ENT, so that these people are not diagnosing everybody with malaria or typhoid. So there's a lot that can be done, but also there's a lot that we can do because we're in the diaspora. We don't depend on these people for our livelihood. And the people who are at home have actually made their mark abroad and have resources to just to support themselves. So I think we should stay tuned. And this also will help some of the things AMPA is trying to do in terms of transforming healthcare in Nigeria. I thought I should add that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Like I said, Nigeria is a very, very big country. And if you go through the land, you find out that a lot more needs to be done. And so thank you so much to the DFC team. I keep hearing it's not a group, it's a WhatsApp group. It's, so hopefully you guys will come together and actually do what you have to do so we can, those people that want to work with you, if somebody wants to be a part of the work you're doing, how are they to contact or join you guys?
Very good question. Yeah, they can actually, they can drop a message. A lot of people here on that group, and we can connect them to the administrator who would add them to the group. And the reason why we're still a WhatsApp group is that that's how it started, but clearly it's going to be a body. And there are two possible structures. One, it will be a membership group where everybody can be a member, but also another one will be a charity group that will be like Medicine Sans Frontier for Nigeria, a charity that can do emergency work in Nigeria so that our colleagues that are here that want to drop home for a week because there's a disaster in storm overflow can go to Nigeria under the auspices of DFC and do work. So that structure is coming. We're having that conversation, but we also want to be effective.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, any other comments, question or something? If not, I would want us to, at this point, go get you a glass of water or get a glass of wine. As serious as this event is still our end of year event. So at some point we'll be taking toast and all of that. Some of you got boxes of things that I'm yet to receive mine. I didn't even know there was a box shared until today. So Iore, I'm watching you with my corner eyes. So please, let's grab something. I think we should repeat the DFC video one more time, why people just go get themselves a glass of water, wine, whatever it is you want to hold.
Actually, Augusta, instead of the DFC video, can we do the slideshow that shows our impact and sponsorship?
Okay, yes, please. Awesome, let's do that.
And make sure you clean that corner of your eye that you're using to look at me. Because I'm looking at you too. And maybe with the background music as people are. TT, are you able to put the slideshow in some background music as people are getting water, please?
All right. You can see there's so much good work that is going on or that has been done. We just need to do way much more. In the Insight Forum, we're chatting about all the money we'll be giving and contributing today. So today we're expecting to triple the previous amount that we have raised so far. But we want to take our speech and comment from my mother, who is here, and she's also the VP of this great body. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite Madam Lara Okunubi. I know she came on, but I can't see her on my screen anymore. So please, Ma, if you're here, unmute yourself and turn on the cameras as we officially receive you. Thank you so much. Do we see her? Okay.
I think she stepped away, so we'll get her back.
Okay. Yeah, you know, dignitaries, we have to make sure everything is right and set. By the way, I want to commend all our donors for today and also the team working this event. It is not easy to do sound, video, recording and all of that. So everyone working this event today, thank you so much for all you do. In this age of computer and technology, my mother's mom, who happens to be my grandmother at the age of 92, just joined Facebook and added me as friend. I reported the account to Facebook to block that account because I will not be followed by her. So every day she don't start tagging me on things that don't concern me. I want to also say thank you to everyone that has spent an hour plus with us today, making this event happen. We truly, truly do appreciate you. And I hope everybody has a glass of something on their hand or food or whatever it is, and the box that was sent out. If you don't give up. Before the end of this event, you surely will get your package. If we have Mrs. Okunubi now, please let her come on, or somebody help us try and reach out to her. Okay. We also know that this event is also supported by some of our sponsors who believes in what we're doing. And if you see the chat, our donations are already going on. So ladies and gentlemen, you can just type what you're giving to us on the message box, and we surely will be acknowledging all of these donations. Please, please, please give with a good heart. We're going to repeat the video of our good works in Nigeria one more time. Please let the video play. I am not sure why our sound is not coming on, but it's okay.
To change that narrative. The Nigerian Physicians Advocacy Group is a U.S.-based nonpartisan organization. It was created by passionate Nigerian American physicians who believe that the healthcare crisis in Nigeria cannot be fixed without good governance. Our mandate is to encourage Nigerian citizens to engage in the political processes that affect their daily lives. As Nigerian citizens, we know about the problems. We must engage in a united front to create sustainable solutions. Our organization wants to create a mind shift within the Nigerian and American leadership through grassroots advocacy. Our grassroots advocacy begins in rural communities, dealing with stomach infrastructure. We are providing access to clean water while educating citizens on the significance of sound civic engagement. We rallied with civic society organizations that led to the signing of the 2022 Electoral Act into law. This single important step not only improves transparency of election results, but also facilitates the election of qualified transformative leaders. Through partnership with the National Voters Drive Coalition, we are working to deal with voter apathy in Nigeria. Only an average of 15% of eligible voters turn out to vote in Nigeria. It is time to change that narrative. Our goal is simple: to increase voter turnout in a nonpartisan way. We are building a movement towards 2023 and beyond. Help us get PVCs into the hands of voters. Help us make history.
All right. Thank you so much for that one. Sometimes you see these productions and you just wonder, this is a world-class production. Thank you so much for putting this together. Do we have Mrs. Lara Okunobi? Now, if you're on here, please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera. We're ready to receive you. Is she here? Can you please find out if she's here?
She's here.
Okay. Please, madam, you have the floor at this point. Can you see her?
Yes, we can see her. Madam Lara, if you're able, can you please unmute your mic and allow us to see you?
Okay, while we're waiting for her to come, please, the donations are already going on. You can click in the message box and tell us what you're giving, and that can just keep coming throughout the event from this point on. Donations are already going on. It said donate direct at the site or pledge right here. So you can pledge right here, just tell us what you're giving, or you can click the link to do your own contribution. Thank you. We're still expecting our vice president. Hopefully we can get her to be a part of what's going on here. Also, remember, if you are not speaking, mute your microphone, or we don't want to hear conversation that does not concern this event. Thank you. Okay, we'll move the event forward, ladies and gentlemen. We have so much to do today, so we'll just keep it going. At this point, I think it's about time we open our boxes. Some of you have received iPhone 15 in your box. So open the box now. And congratulations to those of you that have something to eat and drink while this event is going on. So with that being said, I'm going to invite Dr. Iyore to tell us plans and fundraising for the year 2022. Is it 22 or 23 now?
23, but thank you, Wamilele. So thank you very much. And I really just want to apologize to people. I actually just got my box. Everybody was supposed to get their boxes before today from Kara, so I really apologize. We're being told that by the end of the day, you will receive your box. So for those who've gotten it, I hope you can go ahead now and open it up and enjoy. For those who haven't, sincerely apologize, but it should get to you by end day today. So in your box are some premium snacks as well as a cocktail kit. And basically you can mix this this mixer with either your favorite non-alcoholic or alcoholic beverage. So we're going to give people time to, you know, set themselves up in terms of getting their snacks and their cocktail ready. And then I'm going to come on and talk about what we've done in 2022 and plans for 2023. So if it's okay with you, Wamilele, if we can just give people time to sort of get their refreshments.
Yes, it's very not okay with me, because now I'm wondering what I will be drinking when every other person is opening their boxes.
So go to your fridge and look for something. If there's nothing there, open your tap water and, you know, fill up your glass.
I see how this conversation is going. So the person in charge of the screen, can you open all the screens now so we see everybody, and let's have fun with this one. Because some people will mix their own with lemon juice, lemonade, and all of that. Please, we have too many people not on camera.
And perhaps, Wamilele, what you could do, we have some sponsors, you know, maybe we can highlight those people, and maybe TT, you can put a spotlight. What is the word? Pin, spot them.
All of the above.
So that we can see, you know, our sponsors. I see Dr. Ayo Makide is a champion sponsor with $1,000. Dr. Akwanu is we gotta see the names. I think he gave $2,000. So he is Susan, help me out. What is that level?
I'm trying to find it myself.
But anyways, if we can sort of, you know, put the spot on them, and Wamilele, if you don't mind just highlighting this generous individual
sponsor.
A what?
Signature sponsor. So if we can, yes. Just to quickly say about Dr. Amerwa, the forever supporter of NPAG, one of our biggest champions, fans, collaborators, forever just in our lane. When I saw that, I said, I mean, we have to highlight, you know, and Dr. James will talk more about this, but we have worked very closely with Dr. Amerwa's foundation, APHF, in our PVC projects, really our way of getting involved in the electioneering process. And Dr. Amerwa has already given well into 5 figures towards that project, and yet here he is today still giving to us to continue the good work. So I have to highlight Dr. Amerwa as our champion sponsor here, and Dr. Tagbo Akwonu, he is our signature sponsor with the $2,000 donation. Thank you so much. Even last year, we had your support. He has been one of the pillars of AMPA, one of the first people I ever met when I joined AMPA. And so thank you, Dr. Akwonu, Dr. Makinde as well. He gave $1,000. He is a champion sponsor for us. Again, someone that is always supporting our cause, and we cannot thank you enough for your support. So I want to highlight those people. We've also received other sponsors, donations rather, from very early on. We've received $100 from Dr. Obi, who just joined us. This is her first time, and she was impressed by the work we're doing. Dr. Carol Nwelue also as well, who's an internal medicine physician in Dallas. Thank you for your $100 donation. She's a first-time joiner. So our message is resonating with people who are hearing about it for the first time. Dr. Chukwumeri J, thank you for your $500 donation. Dr. Chukwumeri J is also somebody who shows up for NPAG, so we appreciate your donation. And please, you've seen the work we do. We, even of ourselves, we give so much from our own pocket because we really believe so much in the work that we're doing. So we thank you, those of you who are giving, and we encourage those of you, even if it's $100, $5, whatever it is, please help us keep the work going. So enjoy your boxes.
$5 is not allowed. We have Dr. Ian Acho gave $1,000. Dr. Padua gave $1,000. We have Dr. Ifoma Okoye, $100. We just have money coming in. This is a good thing. So let's keep it coming, guys. Let's keep it coming.
And thank you, Dr. Padua, as a champion sponsor with your $1,000, and Dr. Okoye as well. Thank you.
Let's keep it coming. I also want to encourage you guys. This is a time where you open your boxes and make your cocktail yourself. Make your cocktail. If you have your drinks, put it up. Let's see what you're having. Let's share in the fun of eating together virtually. My people used to say, a wise man once told me, he that posts the picture of a food and say, come and join me to eat, is a witch. But in this present day is allowed unto the fact that we cannot all come together. Hopefully sometime in the nearest future, when we do events like this, we can all come together under one roof and have shared this moment. So ladies and gentlemen, it's merry time. Dr. Tagbo Ekwonu, I hope I got that, gave $2,000. And yes, we still have money coming in. If we can, let's put some music in the background while people take some time and just prepare their refreshment.
Yeah. Let me work. Turn my mic on. Hey, Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Oh. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. One more time. Feliz Navidad. All right. Feliz Navidad. Oh. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año.
Okay.
Hi,
I
everyone.
wanna
Yes,
wish you
so
Merry
we have,
Christmas.
yes, we have a, one of our implementing partners on the line, Mr. Kinsley Ekejuba. So as we had mentioned, we started this continuous voters registration exercise in Abia State, and working with progressive Abia youth who really did a majority of the work. So this is a project that lasted about 2 to 3 months. We did in Abia, where NPAG provided healthcare screening for potential voters, and the voters were able to do their online registration, and they were able to have their biometric captured with INEX. So we offered everything in the same space. So I want to just give him the opportunity to speak about that experience, what we accomplished in Abia. So Kinsley, over to you. If you can unmute and share your video, please.
Is Sir Kingsley here?
Yeah, he's here. I see him.
Okay, please
Ask him
unmute
to unmute.
and share your video.
How does he list his name? I don't.
He's listed as Ekejuba Dabarichi Kinsley.
See, this is what I was saying about our videos being on. Some people will just come online and go to the market or store and leave us there. So please, we need everybody to actually be participative and active on the Zoom. So when we call you, you're able to unmute and turn your video on. Is Mr. Kingsley here? If you're here, please come online. We're waiting for you.
I'm going to try his WhatsApp number.
Okay, he said he's having some network issue, but we see you on the as a participant. Okay. Yeah, he's having some issues with his network, he said. So looks like he's logged out, and he's probably going to log back in.
Is he calling in from Nigeria?
Yes.
Wow.
From Abia State.
Oh. All right. We'll give him a minute to come back on. I want to believe everybody is enjoying their refreshment at this point. We have more donations coming in, people. We have more donations coming in. Dr. Achike just gave us $100. Thank you so much. Dr. Ifoma Okoye gave us $100. Thank you so much. We have more money coming in. I would have donated my balance, but the way my account is set up. Yuri, I hope you didn't hear that because you're on mute on my side.
My ears are very sharp. So I heard the first part. So that's all I heard.
Don't hear that part.
All right. So I think, in the interest of time, because we are going up on, it's almost 6 o'clock, and we hope to end later 6:30. So perhaps I can, go ahead and talk about 2022 activities and plans moving forward while Mr. Kinsley is trying to get back on. And I want to apologize for those people who haven't received their gift boxes yet. And I hope that those who have received it are enjoying the content. I see Dr. Mara's glass. So yes, I can't go downstairs because my kids are at the door banging at the door. Mommy, 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 we want to come in. So I'm just gonna have to deal with my water here. Okay, so let's see. So again, it's been what an evening, right? Or afternoon, wherever you are. I know that there are competing interests and other events that you could have been at, but you're here today because you know, you believe in Nigeria and you want to see a change. So thank you for spending time with us. What we're doing here today is very intentional. You know, we're here because we have a common desire, which is to improve our home country, Nigeria. We all agree that leadership failure is a problem. Therefore, we need to be deliberate and we need to be involved in the process that brings about sound leadership.
Okay, I hope somebody did not call her.
Mind shifts. This is what NPAG is about as well. So what we need to make things happen is your sponsorship. You know, last year at this event, we were able to raise close to $40,000. And that money is what we use to do a lot of the work that you saw in the video that you saw in our sponsorship package. Again, deliberate action to bring about the leadership that we need to make the country what we want it to be. So we do need your sponsorship, and I want to thank those who've already donated. Nothing is too little. Okay, we are now going into our PVC distribution initiative, working with INEC. You know, Bikia talked about that. She talked about, you know, the mind shift that is happening even at the rural grassroots level. So we need to build on the momentum of this Soros Soke. You know, we need to be able to you know, lift our youths up too. You know, yes, they're going to make up most of the voting population. We need to lift them up. We need to be there for them. We need to be, as Bikia said, positive role model for change. Let us be trailblazers. You know, I want to borrow a slogan from Barack Obama's campaign. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Go on the chart, click on the link, donate however much you can. Nothing is too little, and help us make history. And it looks like Kinsley is back. Hi, Kinsley. So
Yes,
I'll have
before
him
we lose
say
him,
something. Thank you so much, everyone. And looking forward to those donations coming in. Over
Thank
to
you so
Kinsley.
much. Thank you so much, Doc. Good evening from Nigeria, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Unfortunately, like they say, Nigeria happened to me with the network, so I had to change. I had to change my data network. So first, I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm going to summarize my presentation this evening with 3 quotes, one from Nelson Mandela, another one from and the last one from the INEC president who retired in Abia State a couple of weeks ago. So from Mandela, he said, and I quote, the most difficult thing to change in a society is not necessarily the society, but the people. That is the most difficult thing to change itself, and not necessarily the society. And I believe that what is doing impact as an initiative, because before now, Nigerians are the leaders. Before now, we always find it very easy to say this person is not a good leader, this person is not doing well, this governor is doing this, governor is doing that, the president is not doing well, the country is not working. He's been complain before now. But thanks to, let's say, NPAG and other women in Nigerians who have imbibed Nelson Mandela's to start changing our reasoning, start changing our approach to development in Nigeria, and that's the reason why what we're doing is here today. Then from the INEC Resident Commissioner, who was closely with us at his lifetime, in a career that spanned over 10 years in INEC, he has never seen an organization that is founded by Nigerians come to work closely with INEC without any attachment to politician, just to see that our electoral process. And that was the reason why he held our coalition strong, he held our coalition to a very strong esteem. And so, again, that shows that if we come together to collectively pursue a genuine cause, then there are Nigerians who are passionate to make this change that want to see come to pass. And that brings me to Dr. Ashemera's quote or comment. He didn't know that I said that he never knew that there were young Nigerians, young people who could be trusted. He never knew that they were youth who were passionate for the development of our country without any drive, which is common for self-aggrandizement for just the people know as the get rich quick syndrome. And so that summarizes what we see as national protection. We represent progressive ability. Progressive ability is an organization of very, very strong and passionate young people who want to make a change in the society.
Hey, Kingsley, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Kingsley, can you hear me? Kingsley, can you hear me? Your sound is breaking. So maybe if you turn off your video, let's see if that would make things a little bit better. Okay.
Okay, is it better now?
This is way better. Yes, way better.
You are a pro for you to know that video consume data sound.
Okay, so in summary, that coalition of different organizations with the same purpose, the same drive, yielded tremendous fruit in Abia State. We were able to register a total number of 74,000 new voters in Abia State within a period of 2 months. Before we started this project, INEC was only able to capture 55,000 between June 2021 and January 2022, within a period of 6 months. But when we came in with this coalition and the young people who are passionate and they went not minding the fact that, of course, if you're conversant with what is going on in the South, is they have this.
It's okay. We're going through some network issues. While we try to get him back, Dr. Emmanuel Kafo gave us $1,000. And also we have Dr. Stanley Okoro, another $1,000. Keep the contributions coming, guys. Thank you so much.
We're still waiting for somebody to beat Dr. Ekwonu at 2,000.
Sir Kingsley, if you can hear us, we have lost your sound completely.
Yeah. And now we've lost him.
Yeah. Nigeria is
Okay.
happening to him.
All right. Well, essentially what he was trying to say is, we're able to accomplish this even with, in the East, there's the stay-at-home policy and the IPOB issue that really prevents work like this to happen. So this young men and women have really found ways to serve their community by going into their villages and people's homes to ensure that they come out and that they register to vote. And they're going to use that same energy to get people out to pick up the PVC, because if you don't pick up the PVC, you cannot vote. So that is what they're going to be working on. And then come election day, it's really also mobilizing, getting people out from their homes to get to their polling units to vote. So as Bikia mentioned, INEC has made a lot of strides so that now the polling units are actually walking distance from people's homes. So we're hoping that the people that we've registered, that we've gotten the PVC, that we can get those people to walk to their polling units to make their vote count. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like you're multitasking today. You're doing everything at once. God bless you. All right. We'll quickly jump into the NPAG Foundation video. If we have that ready, please, let's shoot that video up so Yori can take a breather.
I don't think we have a NPAG video, do we?
Do we have an NPAG video? Who's in charge of our videos?
Or maybe if Madam VP is back on, is she back on?
She hasn't responded yet.
Well, she may be.
Okay.
I think she stepped away. Is there anybody who could speak on behalf of NPAG?
No.
Hi.
Okay.
Do we have somebody speaking?
Okay, so I think that Wami Lele, we probably need to go to our closing remarks. But again, I just want to highlight all of our donors. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you for your trust in us. So I don't know if Dr. Marawa wants to come up and say a few words, and then we can open it up to guests to speak as people want to stay.
Yes, Dr. Ameriwa, I didn't see you mixing your box. So how far? Did you get one?
Lele,
Okay, I see you now.
yes.
I see you. I see you. Yes. Okay, you have the floor, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Well, I want to thank everybody. On Saturday, December the 3rd, we have more than 30 people on this gala and event and fundraising. I've always wondered that those of us who were able to come out here, had the opportunity to be here, will never forget where we came from, because we are really the sort of the top notch of the society. But unfortunately, we left the place, and to paraphrase Buchanan, the barbarians have taken over the place. But I've always believed that there are always good people in Nigeria. The problem is that we're all overwhelmed. From the days of Abacha with Nadeko and the beginning of AMPA, when we decided that we just can't sit here and let our home go bad. Today, there's always been good people, and there are people who have actually paid the ultimate price, whether it's Dele Giwa, Rewani, Mrs. Abiola, Abiola himself. Yet, those of us who have the privilege to be here, that at no personal risk, sometimes stay aloof. So the people that are here, I really want to thank you for still staying engaged, because there are people who feel like Nigeria is a lost cause and it will never get better. I've always been encouraged that even at this point, there are young Nigerians that know that Nigeria can be better. Whether it's the NSAS, whether it's the progressive Abia youth, whether it's the shift, there are young people who really have restored my faith in Nigeria. They remind me of our days when we were young, in high school, knowing that the opportunities for us as Nigerians was endless. If you worked hard, studied hard, it didn't matter whether your mom is a permanent secretary or your mom was a trader, at Onisha Market, you can make it. So I really want to, again, encourage all of us not to give up on Nigeria. And this is a unique time in Nigeria because the youths are tired and they are the majority. But also, some of the middle class people are also tired because of what Nigeria has become. If you travel with a green passport, you know exactly what Nigeria means today. So this is a unique time. And again, it's not it is a marathon, not a sprint. And as long as we get engaged, if we could get Abacha and the soldiers that were holding the gun to leave government, I really believe that we can get the current kleptocratic politicians out of governance. So please don't give up. We in the diaspora send about $20 billion to Nigeria. Now, unless my math is wrong, an average of 1% of that is about $200 million. Just think about it, on the average. Some of us can afford to give more than 1% of what we send to Nigeria, others may not give, but if we do an average of 1% of what we send to Nigeria, that's $200 million. That will change Nigeria. Whether if we talk to people like Moralu who have tried to engage the system, even what Peter Obi is doing right now, the people who have stolen money are sharing it. But all you need is a small amount of money, and our experience with Shift, with Progress Urban Youth has shown that all the youths are looking for are people in our generation that they can trust, that they can work with, they are willing to do the work. So again, I want to encourage all of us to continue to engage. If you're getting your Social Security check and you don't know what to do with it, NPAG is a great place to invest some of that. And also, if you have a $500,000 home in Nigeria that you can't go to because there's no security, you have no light, and the rodents have chewed your light cables, please invest some of that because a better government will make it easier for you to go to Nigeria, not have to worry about being your own power generator, being your own water generator, and therefore you can have a good life. And finally, as physicians, we know that when we go to Nigeria, we're rolling the dice. We lost a good friend of ours, a hand surgeon from UPenn, because he had a cardiac event in Enugu and there was no place to take him. So for those of us who are still interested in going to Nigeria, if you don't do it for others, do it for a selfish reason. A better Nigeria means when you show up in Nigeria and you have a medical emergency, there will be a good place for you to be taken care of. Again, thank you very much, and I hope we will continue to engage. It is a marathon, let's not give up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Like Dr. rightly said, sometimes you go to Nigeria and all the advices you'll be hearing is crazy. Don't go here, don't go there, don't pass this, don't pass that. You know, I just told Iyore this morning what happened to my mom last week because I visited from America. The next day after I left, they robbed our house in the name of, oh, our son has come from America. So we are looking forward to Nigeria where the diaspora Nigerians can go home without the fear of, am I safe in my home motherland? So thank you so much, Doctor. Iyore, you want to say something before I make this announcement?
Yes, so we were supposed to have Banky here with us today, but unfortunately, he fell ill and couldn't make it. He was very apologetic about it, but you know, we understand that he needs to get his rest. And so he really sends his sincere apologies for not being here. He was here with us last year, and I think really motivated and educated a lot of us as to the challenges trying to make change at a local level from an electoral standpoint. So he is going to be running for the Etiosa House of Rep for Lagos under the PDP umbrella. He was in the States, you know, campaigning. So, but, you know, unfortunately, he's not able to be here with us. I hope you guys can understand. That's all I had to say.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was about to say, announcing our guest, Banky W. Yuri has done the job, so thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the donation platform is still open. Please go ahead and make pledges. We see a lot of money coming in. I'll quickly read some of the money we've received thus far. We have Dr. Ndede Amaka and Dr. AC Obada. They've pledged $500. Let me say, I think I saw somebody gave $250. Please, if we have Dr. can you help me, TT, I mean, can you help me run through some of the list you have, if you don't mind? Are
We
you
have
there?
Dr. Ifeoma Thompson.
Uh-huh.
She gave $250. And we also have Dr. Victor Oke, who is one of our own NPAG executive officers, who gave $500.
Awesome.
And the pledges keep coming in.
Yes, please, let's, like Dr. Emerowa said, if you give the tithe of what we send to Nigeria, trust me, every day the dollar changes price, Nigerians are hitting you up. They don't even ask you for money now, they're asking you for dollar amounts. Just send me 50. You know, they're improving with the exchange rates. So please, let's do this. This is for a good cause. One of the biggest things you don't want as a Nigerian who don't live in Nigeria is to get trapped in a medical situation in Nigeria. You will not want to be that person. So what you do now is what helps the cause of what NPAG is all about. So ladies and gentlemen, we do encourage you, put your hands into your pocket, just, you know, give out of a good heart, and God will bless you richly good. On this note, I want to thank everybody that has made out time to be a part of today's event. We truly do appreciate you. Those of you who are yet to receive your boxes, they will come. If they don't come today, because it's weekend, you'll get it on Monday. Enjoy it on our behalf. But hopefully you get them before the end of the day today. And I also want to thank the team members. If you can join me with emojis, just give a round of applause to everyone that has worked this event. These ladies have been on this Zoom for hours putting this event together. So thank you so much to the ladies, amazing ladies who have made this happen. And of course, the gentleman, I know one of our Oga was part of this when we started. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And keep these donations coming after the Zoom. The money part is not over. Just keep the money coming in, and God will bless you richly good. It's our prayer. Iore, where are we?
I mean, that is the program for the evening. If you want to stay for a little bit just to ask questions or say whatever is on your mind or what you think NPAG should be focused on, our 2023 plan is really the PVC distribution and getting out to vote. So that is really going to be, their elections are February 25th for the presidential and National Assembly, and March 11th for the state elections and state leadership elections. So we are going to be on top of that, making sure that people come out. And then once these new leaders are elected, we are going to, you know, try to put in pressure on things that we want to get done. So if there are things that you think we should be focused on, if you want us to go to your village to replicate what we've done in Aliade, you know, just give us a shout out.
Yes. Also, I know somebody has been here. Cheer Bonham, I hope I said that right. You've been here since we started. You've not said one word. Ogini.
Nothing, I've been listening.
Please say something. Don't listen. Bikono.
NPAG's been doing a great job. That's why I donated. I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, thank you so much. I was like, is this
you know, she's always at every event.
I was going to say that. She's always at every event.
I try to support. I like what you guys are doing.
Picture, because she's just there. I noticed the video moves, but the person has said nothing all day.
She's our angel. She's our guardian angel. She watches, and she makes sure we're doing the work.
Looks like Dr. Logo has his hands up.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say something, especially I hope my very good friend, Dr. Emel Kafo, is still on the line. it was interesting when the young man from Shift was speaking, and he asked, that we're just chipping off at the edges. But I will tell you that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one footstep. It starts with one step. I know sometimes it seems very daunting what the task is before us all, but if we can all begin with that mindset of impacting our communities, and some organizations are doing it like Shift, you'll be surprised. More organizations would look to doing the same thing. And as we galvanize our communities, we can actually begin to make change. Remember, good old President Barack Obama, he started as a community organizer. Yes, change can happen. So let us not be deterred by the task that is before us, but rather let us continue, no matter how little the effort, together we can make change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I have a dream
Ladies,
someday. All right.
Does anybody else have their hand up, or can I say a word? This is Dr. Egbo from the great state of Arizona.
Dr. Seth, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of my wife and I and Zion Medical Group, I just wanted to make a quick comment and make our donation. I'm so sorry I couldn't show my face. I'm actually coming back from rounds. I'll summarize my comments by saying some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen. And that's from Michael Jordan. And those of you who've heard me a time or two or read up on my write-ups know Winston Churchill's quote is one I love. To each there comes a time in their lifetime, a special moment when they're figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing, unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared, unqualified for that which could have been their best and finest hour. On that note, thank you, Dr. Yori, and everybody who believes in NPAG and all my fellow Nigerians. With respect to other faiths represented, I'm a Christian, and most faiths will tell you that this is common across the board. My wife and I believe that part of the reason we're overseas is to be able to help those back home. And we will continue to support NPAG and everything else the diaspora is doing. We also believe that the folks back home are doing a great deal, but there are three ways we can support as diaspora. One is our talent, we're loaded with it. One is our time, we're making those necessary sacrifices. The last and not the least is our treasures. And so I want to really applaud again everybody who took time to call in. Majority of us had our phones in our ears listening while we were doing our rounds, and that includes me. And so I just want to say thank you by supporting this year's initiative with $5,000 on behalf of my wife and I and Zion Medical Group. God bless.
Well,
Wow.
that's elite level sponsorship, elite level sponsorship.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I hope they send 15 boxes to your office or wherever it is you are right now. That, when it started, I was like, is that man a Nigerian or what's going on? Thank you.
I have to say something about Dr. Ego.
Yes.
So, it took us a while to sort of convince the general AMPA leadership why NPAG was important. And everybody, now we understand the significance. And I remember as I stood on the podium in Washington, D.C., trying to make the case, and I was throwing a curveball, and he probably saw me struggling, and he came to me and whispered to my ear, "You got this," something to that effect, don't let it get to you or whatever. And, after I heard that, I was able to sort of recollect and do what was necessary. And, here we are. So I just really he's definitely been there from the beginning, a champion, and just wanted to say thank you so much for your sponsorship. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think because the year is coming to an end, if you have your drinks in front of you, you have a cup, a bottle of water or something, we can just raise our glasses and just take cheers to winning for the rest of this year. And, ask that God will keep us until same time next year, while we do a lot of good work in the coming year and celebrate the end of this year in a good way. We will not mourn, we will not be buried, we will not bury, and we'll have and celebrate life when we come back together. Amen.
Amen. Cheers.
All right. We'll keep the music playing for a few minutes while the donations keep coming in. If you want to speak, please unmute your microphone and go ahead and say something. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me? It's Dr. Ifoma
Yes, we hear.
Okoye. Yeah, thank you very much for putting this together. This is great. And thank you for all our sponsors. What I want to add is at some point, probably next year or anytime, it would also be good for us to look beyond beyond us for sponsorships and grants. I had the opportunity of getting involved in a grant type of training, and I saw how people, organizations really, work on grant writing and grants, funds from this. Even though our organization is such that we cannot get grants because of the way it is, because it's a park, but there are other ways it could be done, either through AMPA, which is the 501c3 organization, especially for projects like the clean water and things like that. I'm sure there will be organizations that will want to give grants, even if it's a few $1,000s. So that's something that we could look into going forwards.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dr. Okoye. We're always looking outside and thinking outside the box on, sponsorships and things like that. So absolutely, you are correct.
We still have the floor. You want to say something, contribution, question? Please unmute your microphone and let's share. Thank you.
And I wish everyone could share their video so we could take a picture really quickly. I'm sure TT would like that. Just for a quick second for the picture.
Madam Ifoma Thompson is very fine. Though. She decided to hide camera. Chai.
I guess not. Okay, fine.
Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Many people are at work, or they can't share their camera.
Oh, that's right. That is true. I should. So I don't know. TT, does this work? What we have?
Yes, I've been taking pictures. I don't know why my video is not working, but yeah. So I've been taking shots, so you'll be seeing yourself. But
well,
okay.
I appreciate those of you who are at work and still, found this really important to join in. So that really we truly appreciate that.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, and you have a very happy holidays.
Yes. Have a good one, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Everybody.
God bless.
Wow, they are living swiftly.
Oh. Let's see, I'm trying to get people off. Oh. Okay.
Are we down to the last? Yeah.
Yeah. Titi, please, is there a way we could have the chat